You have the bike, you have the gear, maybe you even passed your test on the first try. But here is the brutal reality nobody tells you. The most dangerous thing on the road is not your motorcycle. It is not the distracted driver texting in the left lane. It is not even the gravel in that blind corner. It is you, the brand new rider who does not know what they do not know. I am breaking down 15 beginner mistakes that separate survivors from statistics. And I guarantee you are making at least 3 of these right now. Some will drop your bike in a parking lot, others will put you in a hospital, and a few will drain your bank account faster than you can say, extended warranty. Let's make sure you do not learn these the hard way. Number 1, riding beyond your skill level. You're out with friends. The weather's perfect. The road looks clean. Then the pace picks up. You're hitting corners faster than you're comfortable with. Your breathing tightens. Your grip stiffens. Your brain is screaming slow down, but your ego says don't fall behind. This is where new riders crash. Here's what actually happens when you ride above your skill. You target fixate on that guardrail. You panic brake mid-corner. You stand the bike up instead of leaning through. You overcorrect, overreact, freeze up. Every one of those reactions can put you down. The math is simple. Every fast rider you admire started slow and earned it through practice, mistakes, and time. You don't get extra points for scraping pegs before you know how body positioning works. You don't prove anything by blowing past your comfort zone on a group ride. Any ride worth joining is a ride where people wait at the next stop, where nobody cares if you're slower, where the only rule is ride your ride. Want to be smooth in the corners? Learn throttle control. Take an advanced class. Practice trail braking in a parking lot. Earn it. Because riding hard before you're ready is like trying to fly a plane just because you watched Top Gun. Number 2, looking down instead of ahead. This is the classic rookie mistake. When you are brand new, your brain is doing 1,000 things per second. Clutch, throttle, mirrors, road signs, that pothole, the guy tailgating you. So your instincts drop your eyes. You stare at the speedometer, your hands, your feet, the road right in front of your tire. But here's the thing about motorcycles. They go where you look. If your eyes are 10 feet ahead, your line will be 10 feet long and full of corrections. If you look through the corner, scanning 50 to 100 feet ahead, everything changes. You are smoother, more balanced, you flow. Riders call it target fixation. You stare at something you want to avoid, like a pothole or a guardrail, and you accidentally steer right into it. It is not magic, it is biology. What you focus on, you unconsciously steer toward. Train your eyes. When you are riding straight, scan the horizon. When you are cornering, look through the corner, not into the middle of it. Use peripheral vision for the speedometer. You will feel the bike rhythm without staring at numbers. Practice in parking lots. Set up cones and practice looking where you want to go, not at your bike. It takes time. But when your eyes lead, your body follows. That is when riding starts to feel right. Number 3, death gripping the bars. When you are new, the adrenaline is real. Every bump feels like a crisis. So what do most riders do? They clamp down on the bars like they are hanging off a cliff. Here is what happens when you white-knuckle those grips. Your steering gets twitchy. You overreact to every wobble and gust of wind. You fight the bike instead of flowing with it. And worst of all, you get exhausted. 10 minutes in, your arms are toast. But riding is not about force. It is about feel. Your hands guide the bike. Your real control comes from your core, your hips, your thighs gripping the tank. The bars are just for input, not leverage. Try holding the throttle like you are cradling a baby bird, firm enough to keep it steady, gentle enough not to crush it. Check in every few minutes. Wiggle your fingers. Roll your shoulders. If you are tense, reset. The best riders look like they are floating, fluid, effortless. Not because they are superhuman, but because they have learned to trust the machine and relax. Number 4, not practicing slow speed control. Let me guess. You nailed the MSF course. You can start the bike, shift through the gears, and ride a straight line like a champ. Maybe you even took a spirited run through some back roads. But here is the real test. Can you make a U-turn in a tight alley? Can you make a slow-speed right-hand turn into a driveway without looking like a giraffe on roller skates? Most new riders cannot. Slow speed control is the most ignored and most important skill in the game. Speed masks mistakes. When you are flying down the road, the bike feels stable. It wants to stay upright. But go under 10 miles per hour and suddenly it is twitchy. It is wobbly. It feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. This is where your skills, not your speed, really matter. Balance, clutch control, rear brake modulation. These are not glamorous. They do not make highlight reels, but they are what separate good riders from sketchy ones. Find a big empty parking lot. Put down some cones or water bottles and run drills. Figure eights, tight U-turns, slow riding without putting your feet down. Friction zone control, that little sliver of clutch where the power starts to catch, is essential. Use your rear brake at low speeds. Dragging a little rear brake while feathering the clutch stabilizes the bike. It gives you control and smoothness, especially in tight turns. And look where you want to go. This rule is 10 times more important at slow speeds. If you are staring at the ground or your front tire, you are going to wobble. Look through the turn. Yes, it will feel awkward at first. You will dab a foot. You will stall. You will look silly in front of strangers at the gas station. Who cares? Every skilled rider started by looking just as awkward. Number 5. Overusing the rear brake. The rear brake feels safe when you are new. It feels less grabby, more familiar, almost like the brakes on a bicycle. But here is the cold truth. The rear brake is backup, not your main stopping power. The front brake does 70 to 90% of the actual work when stopping. When you hit the brakes, weight transfers forward. The front tire gets more grip, the rear gets less. So if you rely on just the rear brake, you are stopping with the tire that has the least grip. New riders tend to slam the rear in a panic stop. That usually leads to locked up tires, skidding, and a lot of panic that could have been avoided with proper front brake use. A friend of mine dumped his bike doing 25 miles per hour. Not because he was going too fast, and not because a car cut him off. He panicked, stomped the rear brake, locked it up, and low-sided into a curb. All of that was avoidable if he had trusted the front. Practice front brake modulation. Squeeze, do not grab. You are not smashing a video game button. You are rolling into it. Find a parking lot and practice emergency stops. Try different ratios of front and rear braking until you feel what actually slows the bike down efficiently. The front brake is your friend. The rear brake is your assistant. When you need to stop, really stop, you want your stopping power in the right place. Number 6. Buying the wrong bike. It's 90 degrees outside. You're just riding across town. Maybe grabbing lunch. Maybe hitting the hardware store. Shorts and sneakers seem fine for just a quick ride. You know what that is? Beginner brain. The road doesn't care how far you're going or how hot it is. You go down even at 30 miles per hour and you'll know instantly whether you wore good gear or just gambled with your skin. Let's break it down. Helmet, DOT or EC, E-rated. Full face if you value your jaw. Jacket, abrasion-resistant textile, leathery, or mesh with armor. Gloves, always. Hands are the first thing to hit the ground. Pants, riding jeans, armored textile or leather, not gym shorts. Boots, ankle protection, solid sole, not your old basketball sneakers. It's not just about crashing. Good gear blocks wind, bugs, rain, road grit. And yes, it protects you when things go wrong. Most crashes happen in the city. Most injuries happen at speeds under 40 miles per hour. Skin versus asphalt. Asphalt wins every time. These days, gear does not have to make you look like a Power Ranger. You have armored hoodies, Kevlar jeans, Sleek textile jackets that breathe like a t-shirt and still save your hide. There is this idea that real bikers do not wear gear. Let me tell you something. Real bikers wear gear because they have crashed. Once you go down and walk away with just a scuffed glove or bruised ego, you'll realize how worth it that extra 60 seconds of suiting up really is. Number 7, buying the wrong bike. Walk into a dealership. You see that big shiny 1,000 cubic centimeter beast. Maybe it is a super sport with race plastics. Maybe it is a huge V-twin cruiser with highway pegs and chrome for days. Your heart says this is the one, but your skill level is screaming abort mission. Buying too much bike too early is one of the fastest ways to fall out of love with motorcycling. A leader bike looks cool on Instagram, but if you are not ready for the weight, the power, or the geometry, it is going to own you, not the other way around. Motorcycles do not care how tall you are, how strong you are, or what your license says. If you twist the throttle and the power delivery is not smooth, or you panic and grab a handful of brake, things go south fast. A lot of new riders also buy bikes that are physically too big for them. They cannot flat foot at stoplights. They struggle backing up on inclines. They tip it over in a parking lot and realize this thing is actually really heavy. What should you look for? A manageable engine size. 300 to 700 cubic centimeters is perfect for most beginners. A forgiving power band. You want smooth throttle response, not torque that launches you into orbit. Low seat height. You should feel planted and stable when stopped. A lightweight chassis. Easier to learn balance, cornering, and control. Buying the right first bike builds confidence. It makes you want to ride more. It lets you focus on skill, not survival. You are not proving anything by jumping on a 1,300 cubic centimeter muscle cruiser straight out of your motorcycle safety foundation course. You are just giving yourself a steeper learning curve and more expensive mistakes. You are not marrying your first bike. You are dating it. Learn what you like, get some experience, then upgrade later. Number 8, ignoring maintenance and service intervals. This is the penny-wise path to catastrophic failure. You skip an oil change because you are busy. You push your service interval because it is expensive. You ignore that weird noise because maybe it will go away. Here is what skipping oil changes actually costs. Not just oil, engine rebuilds, seized pistons, valve damage, the kind of repair bills that make you wish you had just paid the $100 for synthetic. Mechanics joke about riders funding their retirement, but there is teeth in that joke. Service intervals exist because engines fail predictably when ignored. Your manual is not a suggestion. It is a survival guide written by people who have seen what happens when you do not follow it. Check your chain tension. Monitor your brake pads. Watch your coolant levels. These are not optional maintenance tasks. They are the difference between a bike that runs for 50,000 miles and one that grenades at 15. Number 9, forgetting to check tire pressure. Your tires are the only thing touching the road, not your suspension, not your engine, not your ego. Just 2 small patches of rubber about the size of your palm keeping you upright at 60 plus miles per hour. Tire pressure directly affects everything about how that rubber performs. Too low, you get sluggish steering, reduced grip, and increased tire wear. Too high, you get a harsher ride, less contact patch, and worse braking performance. Uneven pressure makes your bike handle like it is drunk. I have seen new riders struggle through corners thinking it is their skill, when really their rear tire was 10 pounds per square inch low. It is such a small thing, but it changes everything. Check your tire pressure weekly. Get a good digital gauge. Know your bike's recommended pounds per square inch. It is in the manual or on the swing arm sticker. Follow it. Do not guess. Adjust for conditions. Colder temperatures drop pressure. A tire pressure check takes 2 minutes. It can literally save your life. Number 10. Using cheap knockoff gear. Look, I get it. Quality gear is expensive. A good jacket runs $300. Boots, another $200. Gloves, helmet, pants, it adds up fast. So you find that knockoff helmet on Amazon for $49. It claims DOT certification, 5-star reviews, looks just like the real thing. Here's the problem. That certification might be fake. The materials might be garbage. The stitching might fail. The armor might shift out of place the second you actually need it. Certification ratings like DOT and CE exist because skulls crack predictably at certain impact forces. Real gear companies spend millions testing their products. They engineer specific foam densities, shell materials, and retention systems to keep your brain inside your skull. Knockoff gear fails where it counts. Stitching rips. Zippers separate. Armor slides around instead of staying over your spine, shoulders, and elbows. The material tears on first contact with asphalt. Do the math. A $300 jacket versus a $30,000 medical bill. Skin grafts. Physical therapy. Months of recovery. Road rash that scars for life. You do not have to buy the most expensive gear on the market, but buy certified gear from real companies with real testing standards. Your hide is worth the investment. Number 11. Relying entirely on ABS and traction control. Modern bikes come loaded with technology. ABS, the anti-lock braking system, prevents wheel lockup. Traction control helps stop rear wheel spin. Ride modes adjust power delivery. It is incredible technology that saves lives. But here's the trap. That technology can create a false confidence that overrides fundamental skill. What happens when the technology fails? What happens when you rent a bike without ABS? What happens when you are on gravel and traction control cannot save you? If you have been relying entirely on electronic aids, you are in trouble. A BS is a backup. It is not a replacement for proper brake modulation. Traction control is insurance. It is not permission to twist the throttle recklessly. These systems are meant to catch your mistakes, not enable them. Learn proper braking technique. Practice smooth throttle control. Understand weight transfer and traction limits. Build the fundamental skills so that when the technology kicks in, it is rare, and when the technology is not there, you are still safe. Number 12. Riding with improper suspension setup. Your bike's suspension came from the factory set for an average rider, average weight, average riding style, average everything. But you are not average. You might weigh 50 pounds more or less than that baseline. You might ride 2 up with a passenger. You might load gear for a camping trip. Wrong suspension does brutal things to your bike. Too soft, and you get a harsh, bouncy ride with poor contact patch. Too stiff, and you feel every bump, lose traction, and fight unpredictable handling. Preload, compression, and rebound adjustments sound complicated, but basic suspension setup takes 30 minutes, and it costs nothing if you do it yourself. $50 if a shop does it. That simple adjustment transforms your bike. Suddenly corners feel planted. Braking is predictable. The bike communicates with you instead of fighting you. Number 13. Ignoring protective gear in summer. It is 90 degrees outside. You are just riding across town. Maybe grabbing lunch. Maybe hitting the hardware store. Shorts and sneakers seem fine for just a quick ride. You know what that is? Beginner brain. The road does not care how far you are going or how hot it is. You go down even at 30 miles per hour, and you will know instantly whether you wore good gear or just gambled with your skin. Let's break it down. Helmet, DOT or CE rated. Full face if you actually value your jaw. Jacket, abrasion-resistant textile, leather or mesh with armor. Gloves, always. Hands are the first thing to hit the ground. Pants, riding jeans, armored textile or leather, not gym shorts. Boots, ankle protection, solid sole, not your old basketball sneakers. It is not just about crashing. Good gear blocks wind, bugs, rain, road grit, and it protects you when things go wrong. Most crashes happen in the city. Most injuries happen at speeds under 40 miles per hour. Skin versus asphalt. Asphalt wins every time. These days, gear does not have to make you look like a Power Ranger. You have armored hoodies, Kevlar jeans, sleek textile jackets that breathe like a t-shirt and still save your hide. There is this idea that real bikers do not wear gear. Let me tell you something. Real bikers wear gear because they have crashed. Once you go down and walk away with just a scuffed glove or a bruised ego, you will realize how worth it that extra 60 seconds of suiting up really is. Number 14, riding without a plan or route. You hop on your bike, no destination, no fuel stops planned, no idea how long you will be out. Just vibes and open roads. It sounds romantic until you are exhausted, lost, running on fumes in the middle of nowhere as the sun sets. Fatigue kills judgment. Poor decisions pile up. You push through when you should stop. You take roads you are not ready for. You end up stranded in the dark on a highway shoulder, hoping your phone has signal. Riding without a plan is not freedom. It is just asking for expensive mistakes and dangerous situations you could have avoided. Basic route prep takes 5 minutes. Know your fuel stops. Plan rest points every hour or two. Have bailout options if the weather turns or you get tired. Download offline maps, because GPS only is a trap when signal dies in the mountains. You are in your first 1,000 miles. Still learning the bike, taking it easy, being cautious. That is smart. But here is the trap. The break-in period is for the engine, not your ego. Some riders use the break-in period as an excuse to stay sloppy. Bad habits cement. Poor technique becomes normal. They hit 1,000 miles and realize they have not actually improved. They are just comfortable being mediocre. Self-assessment is brutal but necessary. Are you actually getting better or just comfortable? Can you execute smooth stops, tight turns, and proper body positioning? Or are you still making the same mistakes you made on day one? The 1,000-mile checkpoint should be your honest evaluation. Take an advanced riding course. Get feedback from experienced riders. Push yourself in controlled environments like parking lots and track days. The break-in period protects your engine. It should not protect your ego from the reality that you still have a lot to learn. That's 15 beginner mistakes. And here's the pattern connecting all of them. Every single one comes down to ego versus reality. Ego says you can keep up. Reality says learn at your own pace. Ego says gear does not matter for short trips. Reality says asphalt does not care about distance. Ego says you will remember to check tire pressure. Reality says you will not, unless you build the habit. The experienced riders you admire made these mistakes too. The difference is, they learned, adjusted, and kept showing up. Which 3 are you making right now? Drop your worst beginner mistake in the comments. Let's build a safer riding community together by learning from each other's screw-ups. Hit subscribe so we keep having these conversations. Ride safe, ride smart, and I will see you out there.